Progress on our boat build has halted because of one big thing.
When we get this done, there's so many things that can happen after it, and we can start putting things in permanently.
It's like a spray foam factory in a truck. Closed cell spray foam.
Closed cell spray foam.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need.
I'm so stoked. Like, it's gonna be so much fun things happening after this insulation is in.
It just feels like a turning point.
Before, everything was so like nice and neat, and now it's just like somebody came in and like spewed all over.
I'm in quite early this morning. The sun is actually just coming up, and I came in early because today's a very cool day, very special day. We're gonna start spraying the insulation. And so all the work we've been doing since we've been back over the last few weeks, like finishing up all the welding with all the sailing hardware on the roof and all the brackets inside, and putting in all the conduits and the hoses, and we cleaned, we sprayed the Nyalic, the protective coating on. It's kind of all coming to fruition today. It just feels like a turning point in the build. I feel like once you get that done, you know, we've been putting in liners, putting in cabinetry, fitting stuff, putting in windows, taking it out, but then once the insulation is in, that stuff can actually go in for real. It can go in permanently, and then it feels like things start to come together. So to me, it's a major milestone, and I'm really looking forward to today. Good morning. Here with Jackson. Brisbane Insulation.
Yeah, Brisbane Insulation, Spray Foam Australia.
So what do we got going on here?
Pretty much we got the reactor here, which is pretty much reacts all the chemical here. We've got one part which is polyol, and then one part which is isocyanate. So these come through the generator, built-in compressor, all the way through the lines, through this guy here, which pumps it all separately through the hose, and then all meets at the very tip of the gun here, which is a little bit messy at the moment from a job yesterday. But it meets at the tip here, and then reacts into a foam like this.
Okay, so it's a two-part PE spray foam.
Polyurethane
closed cell spray foam.
Closed cell spray foam.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need. I started researching materials months ago, and we got almost 2,000 comments and a lot of good advice from you guys. After looking at a bunch of different insulation types, I settled on two. Both are closed cell polyethylene foam, great for thermal and acoustic insulation. Closed cell means there are millions of tiny sealed off bubbles inside, which makes the foam waterproof, lightweight, and a great insulator. It also blocks out sound and won't absorb moisture, which is perfect for a boat. The spray foam gets mixed on the spot from two different chemicals. It's kind of like that canned stuff, but on an industrial grade. It weighs about 32 kilos per cubic meter, and it's awesome because it fills every nook and cranny. But the downside is, once it's on, it's not easy to get off. That's where the foam sheets come in. They're cut by hand, which takes time, but they're a little lighter, 25 kilos per cubic meter, and easier to remove later if we want access. It doesn't have quite the same insulation value of the spray foam, but it's still pretty good and very close. So for Delos 2, we're spraying all the big open areas above the waterline, and for tighter spots, especially below the waterline, around hoses and conduits, we'll cut foam battens to size from the sheets. Well, this is very exciting for us. I know you do this every day, but I'm really excited. This is like a major milestone for our build, so.
Oh, definitely, I'm excited. It should be good as well, especially for this type of build.
Yeah.
Okay, so quick little thing before we get going today. I just wanted to share something that's been part of our daily routine for quite some time now. We've been drinking AG1 for, oh, it's been over 4 years, and I'm just genuinely happy to be sponsored by a brand that we've been using for so long, and also just love their product. It's honestly one of the easiest healthy habits we've ever stuck with, and mostly because it's just so simple. 8 to 10 ounces of water, 1 scoop, shake, drink, and that's it. I also love the flavor, and now they have some new exciting ones. Citrus, berry, and tropical. And I'm loving the citrus flavor at the moment, so it's a perfect time to give it a try. Just click our link in the description or the QR code right here on the screen to check out their best offer ever. So I used to drink AG1 first thing in the morning, but now I kind of switched, and I really enjoy it in the afternoons, in the car on my way to pick up Sierra. Just loud music and cold AG1. And with the new next gen formula, it's even better than when we first started. So AG1 is basically like your all-in-one daily health drink. It combines your multivitamins, pre and probiotics, which I really find important for me, superfoods and antioxidants in 1 scoop. And right now, AG1 has their best offer ever. So if you go to our link, drinkag1.com/svdelos, or click the QR code right here on the screen, you will get their whole welcome kit, including this sweet morning person hat, a year of vitamin D3 plus K2, a flavor sampler, and you get to try their new sleep supplement, AGC, all for free. So that's $126 of free gifts for any new subscribers. So that's pretty awesome. Okay guys, now we're gonna go back up there and see this installation going.
Yeah, they've got everything taped up, all the hoses, all the parts of the structure where we're going to put flooring down, where we don't want to get foam.
Yeah.
A little bit more work, but I think it'll pay off. This is exciting. Pretty cool setup. It's like a mobile spray foam factory in a truck.
Yeah. I'm so excited. It feels like one of those tipping points where, like, when we get this done, there's so many things that can happen after it, and it's kind of been like not something that we've been waiting for, but you know, like when the installation is in, we can start putting things in permanently instead of just like, oh yeah, we can fit this, but then it has to come out and then in again. And I'm also very curious to like how it's going to be done, and you know, just how it's going to look like. I like how he wrapped his face with like the cling wrap, so he can, as he's spraying, take off like layers to like be able to see anything, because it just like sprays all over, you can't see anything. They're gonna start in Sierra's room in the forward port. It's gonna be fascinating to see. It's been so fascinating, like the way that the foam kind of like is sprayed on as a liquid and then kind of is like expands. It's really crazy. It also like really messy, right? It just goes, I don't know, it just changes the look of the space so much. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, really cool. Oh, things are happening today. I like it. So while the guys are in there doing the spray foam, I've decided to start working on something else. When we left to go sailing, I didn't finish up the engine rooms, obviously, because there's so much work to do there. So what I'm doing right now is I've switched over to the starboard side. You remember before I left, I installed the port engine room stern tube with the cutlass bearing and the shaft, and I got all that chalk fasted in. So now I'm repeating that on the starboard side. It's a little bit more straightforward because we don't have the diesel over there, we don't have the clutch, we only have the electric motor. So there's less to align, and I pretty much have a good method to go for. So what I'm gonna do right now is just cut the stern tube to length, 600 mil, get that all lined up, get the electric motor positioned where I want it, and then I'll chalk fast that stern tube in place. That'll be another milestone. We're back at it in the engine here. I've got the electric motor sitting here, and I'm just trying to get everything aligned. And what I found is that the electric motor actually needs to go a little bit lower, which is unfortunate. So I think what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and mark it at its current position. Okay, so something like that. And I'll just lift the electric motor out of the way. And then I'll just go in there with the grinding wheel and just kind of like make a nice little contour.
So they are done in the port hall, and it's now gonna start working through the salon. Yeah, it's going pretty fast. Faster than I thought actually with the spraying, but then he also said like after the spraying is done, all the cleaning and stuff takes quite a long time, so.
Ooh, that was a tough job. But I got all 4 of them cut. So now I'm just gonna lower it down and we're gonna see how it sits. Hopefully I put those cuts in the right place. Yes. Look at that. Okay, that lines up much better now. That's almost very nearly centered.
To finish the inside tomorrow.
They decided not to do the salon here today because it's just getting too much. So yeah, they're gonna come in first thing tomorrow morning really early. But really fascinating to be part of this process though, and to be here and to learn. I love it. It's really cool to kind of just like see how they work, and look at Sierra's room. Yeah, you can see how it just goes everywhere. Like I was just saying before, like I felt like it was very neat and just kind of like all the aluminum, you know, like very pretty, and now it's just somebody's just gone and like vomited. But yeah, it's definitely a lot faster than cutting out all the foam panels and doing it that way for sure.
All right, good morning. We're here nice and early again this morning. The guys should be by any minute to finish up the spray foam. While I'm waiting for them, I'm in the engine room and trying to get that shaft and the seal and the cutlass bearing and everything all aligned, and if all goes right, maybe I'll be doing some chalk fasting. But that's the plan. Time to get at it. Okay, so you can see how I got these pieces cut away. I'll just be rounding them off and making them look nice, but the engine is the motor, I'm sorry, is very close to where I want it to be. And what I have to do now is put this spacer on that keeps the prop shaft centered inside the fiberglass stern tube. And then she should be ready. I've got the shaft where I want it. I've got this black piece machined up. It sits between the shaft and the GRP housing to keep it perfectly centered in there. And now I'm going to measure my distances around here. I've already done it on the bottom and I'm less than 1 mil off in all directions. And so now I'm going to do it inside. So we need to come down just a touch over 2 mil. So what that means is if I lower these mounts and move them down equally, the whole motor will go down, which will pull the shaft down, which will equalize that distance. So now it's time to put the dams on either end. Put my tubes on, double check everything, and then we might be good to start pouring some chalk pass.
And they're still doing the salon right now. Okay, so I think the boys are all finished. How did it go?
It was hard, but yeah, it was good.
Wow. Okay. I guess now the cleanup begins.
The cleanup, probably the least enjoyable part of any task, especially this one. As effective as this amazing foam is, it tends to make a bit of a mess. So everything that was masked off must now be unwrapped. All of the plastic sheeting and yards of tape removed. Then comes the trimming. Any areas where the foam expanded too far needs to be cut back and cleaned up. It's not difficult, just very time consuming. All right, that's it, huh guys?
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for doing a good job. You said it's gonna off gas for 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah,
and then
24 to 48 hours. But since it's pretty open here, it should clear out over the next night and day.
All clean and ready to go, huh? Ready for us to start putting our interior back in. Ooh, it already sounds so much quieter in here.
We did it.
Yes, the installation went very well. Like I said before, it's a pretty huge milestone for us because now that that's done, we can actually start putting stuff in, like installing stuff, and then it stays, it doesn't have to be removed. So they're both considered buoyancy foams. So I have some water here. There's some stats on this. It absorbs like a tiny bit of water if you submerge it for like a long period of time, like days. I think it's like less than 0.02%. I'll have to check that stat, but it's considered buoyancy foam. So any place where we have this, it serves as a vapor barrier, acoustical insulation, and thermal insulation. So it'll make our air conditioning much more efficient. You know, right now when we turn on the AC on Delos, it just leaks out everywhere. It goes right through the holes. The same thing with the heater. And also you get that difference in temperature, like the same things if you put a cold drink out on a hot day, you know, it forms those water droplets on it and then they drip down. I mean, you can really feel the difference inside too as far as sound. When you walk in, it's just like the sounds are just deadened. So, you know, any sort of sound coming from outside or the waves hitting the hull is gonna be deadened by that thick layer of foam. I've never lived in an insulated boat, so I'm actually pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This stuff overall is cheaper to apply. This material is cheaper, but the huge cost in installing this is labor. So this is quite labor intensive because you have to measure out each panel you have to basically cut it around. Bill did 2 bays and it took them nearly all day yesterday to do 2 areas that were that tall and about 6 meters long, whereas they did the entire boat and this stuff in 2 days. So,
Yeah.
but there is more cleanup. So if there's one thing I would change, I would have probably spent a little bit more time masking stuff, because there's a few areas where we missed masking and now I have to go in and get rid of the foam. There's like a couple of conduits that I should have masked that I didn't, but it's okay to work with. You can cut it with a knife, you can cut it with the multi-tool. Acetone dissolves it and then you can wipe it away. There's special PE foam remover that you can put on it, wait 30 minutes, and then it'll dissolve the foam. So
I think that's pretty much it.
okay.
On to the next video next Friday, I guess.